Honorable Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy President. And by the way, I want to thank senators. We've gotten adjusted quite well to referring to the chair. Mr. Deputy, since my last presentation, I noted that the Senator Polius has joined us, so I want to say a special welcome to her. And she's also in solidarity by what I see with the breast cancer awareness movement. Quite appropriately, and I think she may have noted that, I may have noted that Senator Stanislaus is not well, so I wish him a speedy recovery. Mr. Deputy President, just a quick response to some of the observations made by our colleagues in this chamber regarding this motion. I want to start, first of all, by acknowledging the presentation made by Senator Aziz, the independent senator. He made a couple of very important observations and, of course, noted where he thought the government was doing the right thing and gave some words of counsel, which we always appreciate. I want to say first that the observation made regarding the maintenance, quite correctly, that there should be some kind of thorough assessment of the equipment so that the approach is more comprehensive, is noted. I want to point out to him that in my presentation, that is why we have ensured that an allocation is made for the maintenance and the not only maintenance space but maintenance personnel, so that we will save on the problems of responding to breakdown of equipment. So I think we have made allocation for that, but I think it's also important that the part about the assessment of these machines and this equipment be done more routinely so that you can detect possible breakdown before it happens. So I thank him for that. I believe that there was evidence of the senator's connection with the people on the ground, and I think it was very heartening to hear of the intervention with the hospitality sector working along with the schools. That can be very inspiring for a young child, and as an educator, sometimes children form the perception or the idea of a career based on the experiences they've been exposed to in school. And some of the prominent doctors, lawyers, mechanics, engineers, farmers, and others that we have in this country would have been inspired somewhere, maybe in school, when somebody visited them and there was a wow factor. So I want to thank the senator and his organizations and his initiatives, and I encourage that all of us in this chamber, find it fit in some way to be able to collaborate with our young people, our schools and institutions, to achieve the objectives of our people, and not only leave it to the chambers where politicians do their job. Madam President, Mr. Deputy, I figured that would happen at some point. Mr. Deputy, I want to just thank the opposition senator. Now, when he stood, I paid attention to his contribution, and he by and large gave some support to the motion. I thought when he was about to end and said, I want to end by, I was hoping that it would be, I want to end by saying that I support the resolution. But while in essence he seemed to have suggested that he was supporting the resolution, but he was cautious that the words "I support" never came out of his mouth. And I look forward to the day when we will present a motion, a bill, a resolution, or any piece of legislation, or any item on the agenda of the St. Lucia Labour Party government, that this opposition will finally find the courage to say, to utter the word "I support." Because I remember doing that. The Child Protection Bill was a good example. Standing there and standing up and saying that I support that bill, I support the amendment because it's good. So there were some comments made regarding the public servants should be paid more. Who in this chamber will not agree that all of our public servants should get some more in terms of their salaries and their wages? Will anybody in this chamber not appreciate and encourage that? And so this government is not opposed to it. In fact, our frontline workers, we have found ways to incentivize some of them, especially after the teachers got that nice increase and some other sectors said, but what about us? So we believe that it is important for us to always consider giving our public servants more for their time and paying them better. And as we continue to grow this economy, as we continue to realize surpluses, these negotiating teams will be able to perhaps see a lot more in terms of what the government is doing to increase. So I think the idea of paying more to the public servants is not something that we have any issues with, but we will do so when the resources are available. I also want to remind this chamber that our government has been moving in that direction in the 2 years that we have been in government. We have shown that we are willing to give benefits to our public servants, even those that have perhaps deserved those long before. Mr. Deputy, you might recall the Liat workers and the Majestic workers, that we took care of. People had forgotten about these people. They had dwindled and labored, and they had not received their benefits. And it was in this chamber that the Honorable Prime Minister came and said, we are going to pay these people their benefits, and they have received that. Mr. Deputy President, the pay increase for public servants, that was granted recently. Mr. Deputy, we also had back pay for the teachers. So we understand that whenever our public servants, we can provide something for them, we will. And so it is not just the essential workers. We believe they are very special, but I think all our public servants can do it a little more. Now, having said that, I also want to point out, Mr. Deputy, that when we discuss and talk about workers and their benefits, since the leader of opposition business raised it, it is not only in salaries that you reward a worker. It is not only based on what they take home in their pockets. Sometimes we get carried away with the issue of pay. But it's also equally important to reward workers with the conditions of work. Anytime there is a negotiating team, there are two main issues that are on the table: wages and conditions of work. And it is equally important that even if you give people an increase in their pay, but if their working conditions are not suitable, then they are not happy. And so this motion addresses, to a large extent, the working conditions of our frontline workers. That is why we are repairing the facility in Vieux Fort. That is why we are providing the psychosocial support. That is why we are doing the training, because we want these officers to be a lot happier at work. So, Mr. Deputy, I just want to wrap up with a very important point. We must note that the St. Lucia Labour Party government is the government that has built the most fire stations in this country. That's a fact. And in the period between 1997 and 2011, we built the Dennery Fire Station, the Miku Fire Station in opposition territory. We can also speak of the Babuno and the Vieux Fort Fire Station, among others. So fire stations, the entire unit where our fire officers operate, we have built more than anyone. So we believe we are very sensitive to their needs. So I just want to remind the opposition of that. And I want to also say one important thing, Mr. Deputy. You see this money that we're here to borrow today? I want to assure St. Lucians that this money will be repaid. This loan will be repaid. And I want the leader of opposition business, I hope he's listening. He tends to not listen to my response when he asks questions. This money, Mr. Deputy President, through you, the leader of opposition business needs to know that this loan will be repaid through and from the proceeds of the health and security levy. The health and security levy that has, for some reason, become the favorite discussion topic of the opposition. This is the levy that is going to pay for that loan. And so it is important that we pay attention when there's a strategic move by the government. We know why we're doing what we're doing. This issue of the fire service is a health and security issue. It is. And so the levy this is one of the things is going to be used to pay. We are not going to take another loan to pay that loan. We have seen governments do that. Take a loan and then take another loan to pay that loan.
And pay commission.
And pay. I hear some mention of paying commission on loans taken. We are not into that type of practice. We will not do so. So we are going to use the health and security levy, the 2.5% that has become a talking point of the opposition. We are here to say that this is going to be used to repay that loan. And so there'll be no other loan taken to repay that present loan that we are seeking. So I look forward to that. I thank St. Lucians for the understanding while some of those things are not available, and I look forward to that benefit to the frontline workers and to the essential workers of this country. I thank you, Mr. Deputy.